day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's mathematical literacy lesson. My name is Mitala Chia. I will be your presenter for today with my colleague here, Nikiwe Zulu. Remember, this lesson is brought to you by Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery. Boys and girls, last week we were busy doing paper 2. We started with our paper 2. The paper 2 that we started with, it was conversions. Remember, on paper 2, we've got 2 topics, which is measurement and as well as maps and scales. Last week we started with part 1 of measurement. Today we are continuing with our part 2. So our focus today will be on perimeter and area. Boys and girls, you must remember one thing. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to calculate the perimeter and area of an object, determine or calculate the appropriate quantities of materials or components required to complete a task. Last week, when we were focusing on the conversions part, we did not calculate any quantities. We did not calculate any perimeter or area. We just did the conversions, converting from kilometers to meters, from meters to centimeters, that stuff. But also we did the other part of where we were busy doing what? Where we were busy doing the other part of conversions, which was converting from liters to kiloliters, the liquids and stuff. Our main purpose for this week now, we will be focusing on the metric and imperial systems are the 2 main measurement systems commonly used in the world. So the length means measurement between 2 points in a straight line. This is what we were doing last week when we were doing the conversions. We said, what is the length? The length, it means we are measuring between 2 points in a straight line, meaning from point A to point B in a straight line using either a ruler or a measuring tape. Like, for example, when we measure the length of a room, we'll start measuring from one end to the other end. And then the distance now. Here, I want us to have a look at the difference between the length and the distance. The distance, it means how far apart are 2 objects. How far apart are 2 objects? So meaning, for example, the distance between your school and your house. So when you travel, you will walk from your house to your school, and then coming back, you walk from the school back to your house, or maybe you walk from the shop to the house, or maybe you walk from your classroom to the office. That is the distance. Remember that one, it is not measured in, you don't walk in a straight line. But when we measure, we can either use a crow fly, but that one you'll see when we do the maps and scales, the part of the crow fly. But as long as we know that the distance is how far apart are the 2 objects, and then the length, it means we measure between 2 points in a straight line. Now let's continue with the conversion table of the length or distance. Remember what I said. Conversion table of length or distance. So it means when we do the conversions, when we measure, we either measure using the kilometers. If I'm driving or if I'm walking, I will measure how many kilometers did I walk, or how many kilometers did I run, or how many kilometers did I drive. That one is driving. And then when we measure them in meters, so we know that, okay, meters is using what? When we are measuring a bigger part, like when they're building a house, they will be using the meters. And then when we draw on a paper, that's where we are using centimeters and millimeters. And also when we measure our waistline, we are using what? We are using a measuring tape. That one will be in centimeters, but I am not there. But what is important, we know that when we convert from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, what we do, we say from kilometer to a meter. We are multiplying by what? By 1,000. Here we are only focusing on the 4 units, converting from kilometer to meter, from meter to centimeter, multiplying by 100, and then from centimeter to millimeters, we multiply by 100. By 10. Once you know this one, boys and girls, from the centimeters to millimeters, it's so easy. You can use your ruler, the one that you're using in your class. When you underline your work on your classwork book or on your exam, when you are writing the exam, that rule, it is in centimeters and millimeters. So you can see that 1 centimeter there is equivalent to what? To 10 millimeters. So you have done that part of conversions, and I know that by now you should be mastering it, because our lesson is going to be focusing mainly on the conversions. Now, our baseline. I am not going to give you more time to do it, but what is going to happen, I will read the question for you, and then as I'm reading the question, you must quickly take your pen and then circle the correct answer, or just give me the correct letter, and you'll hear from me when I say yes, that answer is correct or not. Let's have a look at number 1. The formula of a perimeter of a rectangle. Formula of a perimeter of a rectangle. And then we know that a rectangle, it has what? It has a longer side and a shorter side. But when we talk about perimeter, what are we talking about? That one, it's number 1. And then number 2, perimeter of a circle. Perimeter of a circle. So here, boys and girls, I am also not going to say anything. I hope you have already selected your answer. So now let's have a look at our first one, number 1.1, or number 1. We say formula for a perimeter of a rectangle. Here is my diagram of a rectangle. And then with the diagram, I know this is the length, and then this is the breadth. Boys and girls, you have done this in grade 10. Even in grade 11, we know that if this one is the length, also this side is the length is the same, and then here is the opposite side, it is the breadth. And then when you talk about perimeter, we are just adding. I'm not going to go in detail, but the correct answer for number 1, it will be B, whereby we say perimeter, it is twice the length and then plus the breadth, twice the breadth. That is the answer. So we say perimeter, it is this one, twice the length plus twice the what? The breadth. Not to multiply, we don't double, but we just say twice we multiply. Why are we multiplying? When I say 2 times L, we'll do it in detail, because now this is the same as 2. I've got L here, and then I've got length here. So how many lengths? 2 lengths. And then the breadth, I've got 1 this side, I've got 1 this side as well. So that means it is 2 length and 2 breadth. We just add, but we'll do it in detail. Perimeter of a circle. What do you remember about the perimeter of a circle? Is it C is equals to pi r squared, where pi it's 3,142, and then r stands for what? For radius squared. Or we say circumference. Why am I saying C? Because the other word for perimeter of a circle is circumference. Is it C is equals to, circumference is equals to 2 pi r squared, or C is equals to 2 pi r? So what is our correct answer there? Our correct answer is C, 2 pi r. Remember, the circle is like this. So the circumference, we say, is the distance from one end of the circle to the other end of the circle. So, but we'll do that in detail. Here is just a reminder. We are just refreshing our minds. Now let's go to number 3. Formula of area of a square. What is the formula of area of a square? With the formula of area of a square, is it pi r squared, or is it s squared, or A is equals to, area is equals to 4 times S, where S stands for the side. So a square, we know a square, all the sides are equal. So if they say this side is equals to 2 centimeters, it means all the sides are equal. So for the area of a square, the correct answer will be B. Side multiplied by side, but we'll still do it in detail. Here is just to refresh, as I've indicated. And then we go to number 4. Formula of area of a rectangle. Formula of area of a rectangle. Again, here is our rectangle. And remember, sometimes our rectangle could be standing like this. It doesn't mean that it will always be like this shape, but we know that this is the longest side and then this is the shorter side. Here, this will be my shorter side, and then this one will be my longest side. And then now let's see the formula for the area of a rectangle. It is what? It is 2 times length, 2 times breadth, or area is equals to S squared, or P is equals to 2L plus 2B. So the first answer, the first one is the correct one, whereby we say area is equals to what? Length times breadth. But there's a typing error here. Have a look at it. Now, where's the typing error? Here it says 2L and then 2B. But when we calculate the area of a rectangle, we don't add the 2's. We don't add the 2's. Don't mistake in that. Area is equals to length times breadth. There are no 2L and 2B. It is only length times breadth. Don't forget the area. Area is equals to length times breadth. Not the 2L, 2B, not the S squared. This one, the S squared, it's area of what? It's area of a square. With an area of a square, if the side is 2 centimeters, it will be side multiplied by side, which will be 2 centimeters multiplied by 2 centimeters. And then how do you identify that it's a square? You'll only be given one side. And then with an area of a rectangle, you'll be given 2 sides. The other side will be long, the other side will be short. So we know that by now. And then the formula for area of a circle. What is the formula for area of a circle? Now let's have a look at this one. We say area is equals to 2 pi r squared. Or is it area is equals to pi r squared, or area is equals to pi d? So the correct answer here, it is B. Area is equals to pi, which is 3,142. But don't stress, that one will be given multiplied by what? By the radius squared. That is the formula for the area of a circle. So boys and girls, I hope this one, you'll understand it more when we do now our focus for today, which is the calculation of perimeter and area. Now let's have a look at perimeter. What is perimeter? I hope you still have that in mind, what I said on top when we're doing our baseline, when we're selecting the correct formula. What is important about that baseline? You need to know the formulas. You need to know the formulas so that when the examiner gives you those formulas, you are able to select the correct formula, and then you substitute in that formula. Now let's find out what is perimeter. We say perimeter is the total length or distance around a shape or around the boundary. The total length. Now let's quickly have a look. Maybe if I may do it here. Okay, you'll see when we do the next slide. On the next slide here, let's say I'm taking this part. I'm covering this boundary. Then now if I want to know the total length, it means I'm going to move from point A, then straight to point B, and then take the measurements, write them down, and then move from point B to point C. Let's say this is my A, this is my A, this is my B, this is my C, this is my D. So then I'll move from point C to point D, and then from point D to point A. So meaning the distance that I have moved from A to B will be the same distance as the distance that I'll move from C to D. And then distance from B to C, it will be the same distance as from A to D. But that one, that is if we are having what? We are having a rectangular prism. But if we are not given a rectangular prism, what is important? You just need to know that when you talk about a perimeter, we are just saying the total length. So meaning irrespective of the shape that is given, you just move around. So now like you have a look around your classroom, you will see that your classroom has got how many sides? It has got 4 sides. So if you want to put a ribbon to decorate your classroom, so that means you'll start hanging from one end of the class and then move straight to the other end, and then you move again from one end to the other. So you'll be just running the tape around what? The boundary or the outer side of the what? Of the classroom. So when you are inside, you'll just look at the corners there at the top of the ceiling or at the top of the classroom. You don't move in the middle of the classroom, but where do you move? You just start from one corner, you go straight to the other corner, and then you move from one corner to that other one, from that other one to there, up until you are going back to the first corner where you started. So that one, it is the perimeter, it is the total distance. And then perimeter of a circle is also called what? It is also called a circumference. And then with a circle, let's say suppose you're having a round table. If you're having a round table, like maybe let's take your waist. Our waist is round. So now when you tighten or when you fasten your what? Your belt, you'll start from one end and then it will move right around to the other. And so meaning where it meets when you tighten your belt, now that will be the circumference. So because you'll be moving outside, we are not focusing on the inner part of your body, but just outside. You'll be just going from here and then you'll just move right around up until where you started. So that is also called what? It's a perimeter of a circle, but it's also called circumference. And then the perimeter is measured in single units. So as you can see, when you write P, it is only one end here at the bottom, 1 point. So it means perimeter, it is in single units. So it is when we say, suppose we measure the perimeter of our ground or of our classroom in meters. So remember I said we just add all the sides and then we get the answer. So our answer will be in single unit because we are not doing any multiplication, we are just adding. And then the other one, the length, this one I have already explained to say when you talk about the length, we say it is the distance or the length is measured between 2 points in a straight line. So when you start from this corner up until this corner, even on your table there, or even when you are having your book or your calculator. So if I want to measure the length of this, the length or the perimeter of this calculator, I will start from here. I'll say, okay, I will measure from here up until there, and then start again from here up and there, up until here, and then move around up until there. So it is measured in what the length is in straight line. It's a point between the length is measured between 2 points from here up until there in a straight line. And then when the circumference is the distance around a circle. So if this is your circle, and then you say the circumference, like I've indicated, it's the distance around the circle. If I'm to put a ribbon around my head, then I'll just take a ribbon and then I will round it right around my head, and then I will tie it here. So if that ribbon, I say I want it to have a bow tie, so it means I will take an extra length. So it won't be the ribbon that fits my head straight, but it will have some extra length, and then I will be able to make a tie. So that one, we say it when we talk about circumference, we say it's the distance around the circle. If we check, I am not focusing on the inner part. I'm not talking about this part. I am only talking about the outer part. Even when I do the perimeter, I say it is only on the outer part. Look, I don't touch where there is the weight. I only touch outside. And then we have the radius. What is radius? Radius is half of the diameter, meaning radius is the diameter divided by 2. And then the diameter is a straight line that divides a circle into 2 equal parts. So now let's quickly have a demonstration for that one. Here is my circle, and then here is my center of the circle. Now I say the diameter is a straight line that divides the circle into 2 equal halves. I know I'm so terrible in drawing. I hope you can see I have divided my circle into 2 equal halves. And then this line, it is what we call what? Our diameter. We say this is our diameter. It's a D. This line, it is a diameter. And then when you talk about now the radius, radius we say it is half. Radius we say it is half of what? Of the diameter. So meaning for the radius we go from the middle up until there. So meaning this one, this diameter, it divides the circle into 2 equal halves. And then now on the other half, we say now from the middle up until the other end of the circle, it is what? It is our radius. So meaning radius, it is half of the diameter. You'll see there will be a good example of that you'll understand with ease. We'll see on our calculations. But here, what you need to understand to say, okay, radius, this is where it starts. It is half of the diameter. It means when you are given the diameter, you just divide it by 2 to get what? To get the radius. And then if we are given the radius, say for example, let's do this. They are saying here is our radius. Our radius, it starts from the center of the circle to the circumference. So this will be what? Will be the radius. And then if I add another line from the center, continuing to the other end of the circle, we'll be having what now? A full line. So meaning I would have divided the circle into 2 equal parts. And then I'll be having what now? My diameter. I'll be having my diameter, and then here, because it's just a half, it will be the radius. I hope you understand that. It is clear. Now let's continue. Area is the amount of space occupied by a 2-dimensional figure. So a 2-dimensional figure. Area. Now we are no longer talking about perimeter. Now we are talking about the area. We are saying now area is the amount of space. This space, if you can check here now, this space, where we have what? Where we have the length and the breadth. Here, because it's a square, it's only side by side. All the sides are equal. We say area is the amount of space occupied by a two-dimensional. Two-dimensional. As you can see here, we don't see any other side, but we only see the front part. For example, say I am having a page here. I am having a page. If you see only this part of the page, then we say this is the two-dimensional. We have the length and as well as the width. We have the length of the shape and then as well as the width of the shape of the breadth. So we say this is what? It is a two-dimensional figure. Or yeah, two-dimensional figure. If it is a square also, it is also a two-dimensional figure. If we can see only this front part of the square, you don't see other sides of the square, then we say it is a 2D. And then remember, area is measured in what? Now in square units. So area is measured in square units. For example, your millimeter square, say, or meter square. Say here the length is 3 meters. 3 meters, and then the width is 2 meters. And then if I'm to calculate the area there, there's a formula. I'll say area is equals to length times breadth. You'll see when we do the calculation. So it will be what? It will be 3 meters multiplied by what? By 2 meters. I'm not doing any addition when it comes to what? To the area. I am multiplying, but when we do the perimeter, we are just adding. Now let's have a look at the 3D shape. A 3D shape, it's a dimensional construction of a real-life object. It is a solid. It has a length. There is my length. From this point, this is my length, and then it has what? The width from here. So this part will be my length, and then the width will be from here. How wide is my box? This will be my width or my breadth, and then how high is the box? This one will be my height. As you can see, boys and girls, I said the length, it starts from one end to the other, and then the width, it will be from here to here. How wide? Let's take, for example, this calculator. When you are looking only at the buttons of the calculator, it will be a two-dimensional. But once you look at the calculator in this fashion, you will see that there is what? There is the length or the height. If I'm holding the calculator like this will be what? This will be your height. This will be what? Your width, and then this will be your length. So meaning this one will be your length, and then this one will be your width, and then how high is my calculator? That is a 3D shape. On this one now, on a square, all the sides are equal. Remember what I said, the square, all the sides are equal. We are able to see side 1, side 2, side 3. Even here, we are able to see side 1, side 2, side 3. So it's a 3D. Here, we are only able to see only 1 and 2 sides. We are only able to see 2 sides. But on this one, the 3D, we are able to see all the sides from here up until there. So we're saying the side. All the sides are equal. Now let's quickly do the formulas so that you are familiar with the formula, because the examiner will give you the formula and then they will say to you, you may use the formula. So if the examiner says you may use the formula, it means they're hinting that this formula is correct. You should be able to use it, and you should be able to manipulate the formula to get the correct answer. Now the perimeter, as I have indicated, Here we have a flat shape, our flat screen. With our flat screen, we say the perimeter is the total length or distance around a shape, and the perimeter is measured in single units. So as I have explained, we have a flat screen, and then with a flat screen, if I want to put a ribbon, like I said, it will be the length of the TV. It's here. This will be the length, and if you check this side, it's exactly the same as this one. The length here is exactly the same, and then this one will be, if it is 4 meters, even here will be 4 meters, and then that's where the 2L, because it is 4 meters this side, 4 meters this side. So let's do maybe an example. So we'll say 2 times what? Times 4. What? 4 meters. Plus, we are adding. Remember we said we just want to put a ribbon. And then we say now, the breadth. The breadth, it will be this side. How wide is my TV? This will be my breadth. Say my breadth, it is 3 meters. My breadth is 3 meters. So if we check, it's the same from here up to here, and then from here up to here is the same. So if this side is 3 meters, definitely this side is also 3 meters. So meaning it will be 2 times what? Times 3. And then it's 3 meters. This, you can do it this way. You know, you'll get 8 meters here plus 2 times 3. It will be what? 6 meters. In a practical, easier way, I can simply say the perimeter is equals to what? 4 meters plus 3 meters plus 4 meters plus 3 meters. How much do I get? It will be 8 plus 6. I always prefer to use this guy, a calculator, so that I am correct. Even if I can add within my head, but I still need to make sure that I get the correct answers. So I will quickly say 4. Let me take the first one. 8 plus 6, it is 14. So meaning when I add, yes, 3 plus 4, it's 7. 4 plus 3, it's 7. So all in all, it will be 4 meters. I've just added. Same applies with a square. A square, if you check the mirror here, my inner mirror, it is a square. All the sides are equal. So I just say side plus side plus side plus side. And then if they say the side is equals to what? Say maybe they say one side it is 3 meters, then it will be 4 multiplied by 3 meters. Look at the unit. The unit is a single unit. 4 times 3 will be 12 meters. So meaning I've just added, it is 3 meters here, 3 meters here, and then 3 meters here. When I add, it's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. It will give me 12. Now, the other shape that you need to be familiar with, it is what? It is the shape of a triangle. Remember, in Maths Lit, we only have 4 shapes. We have a rectangle, we have a square, we have a triangle, and a circle. That's it. Those 4 shapes only. So here with a triangular prism, here the yield sign, you know, when you are driving, where you have to stop, you don't stop, but you yield to check if it's safe for you to turn or to cross, and then it's a yield sign. So here, if they say one side it is 3 meters, that means all these sides will be like this, 3 meters. All that I have to do for the perimeter, I just add 3 meters plus 3 meters plus 3 meters. That will give me 3 plus 3 plus 3, 3, 6, 9 meters. Single unit. Same applies with what? With a circle. A circle, it starts here. As you can see, it's round. It's round. I'm only focusing on the gold part. So the circumference of the circle, it is 2 pi r. and then it will be 2 times pi, always will be given as 3,142 times what? Our radius. Remember the radius, we said it is from the center of the circle to the circumference. And then they say our radius, maybe it is 4 meters. And then you quickly take your calculator, you say 2 multiplied by 3,142 times what? Times 4. And then it will give me an answer of 25,136 meters. As we can see, there is no square unit. There is only 1 meter here. So meaning I just take that unit as it is. So don't mistaken by multiplying the units. No, we don't multiply the units. We are just adding. Remember I said the ribbon, it will only focus on the gold part. And then area, for area, it's also the same. Area, we said that it's measured in a square unit. And then with an area, if it's measured in a square unit, and then now what we say this one is our length, this one is our breadth. And then remember on our previous example, area is equals to what? Area will be, length is 3 meters, and then multiply by what? By 2 meters. If they say to you this is 2 meters, and then this one will be 3 meters, and then you say area is equals to what? 3 multiplied by 2 will be 6. How many? Because I'm multiplying, I'm increasing, then it will be 6 meter square. And the other thing, boys and girls, that you need to remember, if the units are different, you'll see when we do the activity, if you are given different units to work on, say on this shape of a square mirror, and then here, okay, a square will have the same sides. The length will be the same. Say it's 3 meters. So it can be A is equals to 3 meters multiplied by 3 meters. And then we'll have 9 meter squared. Here I am not adding, but I am multiplying, because one side is 3 meters. That means all the sides are 3 meters each. Remember here we are focusing on the inner part, or we are focusing on the mirror. The unit is a square. And if we check area, when you write area, how many points we have? 2. That is why we are having a unit of square. And then with P perimeter, it's only 1 leg. So meaning it's single unit. It will be in centimeters, meters, millimeters, or kilometers. It depends. And then for the area, because there are 2 legs here, the unit will be, if it's centimeters, that means it will be centimeter square. Don't forget that one, boys and girls. Here is just for you to remember. And then with a triangular shape, remember we're saying now, with a triangular shape, we'll be focusing on this part, the outer part. But here, we need to know this will be the base. As you can see, our triangular shape, this part will be our base. But here, we are also looking at the height. How high is our triangle? So meaning, we have, the formula will be half base, half multiplied by the base. Here, it will be my height. The height, how high is my triangle? So that will be the height. So we'll say it is half, say maybe our base is 4 meters. So it will be half multiplied by 4 meters multiplied by the height. How high is this? The height, say maybe it's 5 meters. And then we quickly take our calculator. We do the calculation to be what? To be half, which is 0.5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5. And then the answer will be 10 meter squared. How many we are multiplying? So the unit will be in squares. Same applies with a circle. A circle area is equals to pi r squared. And then our pi, it's always given as what? As 3,142. Here, you'll be given, either you are given the diameter, Here's the center of the plate, and then you are given the diameter from one end to the other. And then if we are given the diameter, then when you calculate the area for the circle, you'll use this one. Why? Because I'll be having pi as 3,142, and then I am given the diameter to be what? To be 6 meters. And then multiply by what? Multiply by the diameter, which is what now? Which is 6 meters. And then I just divide it by what? By 2, because now this is the same as the radius. So if the radius will be 3 meters, half of 6. So if I'm to use this one, it will be 2d, and then I square. Or what I do, I just say, okay, fine, I'm given this formula. And what I know that the examiner prefers this one, this formula. And if the examiner has given you the first formula of A is equals to pi r squared. Remember, in between here, there is a multiplication sign, and then you just say 3,142 multiplied by what? Half of the diameter is what? It is the radius, which is 3 meters. And then here, boys and girls, you don't only square the units, you square the number as well. Your brothers and sisters, they made that mistake of not squaring the entire figure, but they only square the unit. No, here you square the number and the unit, and then you use your calculator to get the answer. Now let's quickly do the quiz. It says calculate the perimeter of the shape. This one, I'm going to do it quick because I have already explained. Step number one, you check, are the units the same? It's centimeter, centimeter. And then they say I must do what? Calculate the perimeter. Now, if I'm to calculate the perimeter, quickly I say, oh, okay, the perimeter, P is equals to what? 2L plus 2B. And then it will be 10 centimeters times 2 plus 2 times 4 centimeters. And then you say 10 times 2, it will be 20 centimeters plus 2 times 4, it will be 8 centimeters. So the perimeter will be 28 centimeters. Remember, now here we are only talking about what? We are only focusing on the perimeter. And then now let's quickly check the second one. Now we say, okay, now with this one, calculate the circumference of the shaded part. It means we are only focusing on the shaded part. And then we said, what is the circumference? The circumference is equals to what? C is equals to 2 pi r. There is no square here. And then now they are saying here the shaded part. And the shaded part here, it's a full circle. This formula, it's for a full circle. It's for a full circle, this formula. Now, because we want only the shaded part, so that means we'll say 3/4. Because now if we check this circle, I can divide it into 4 parts. If I'm dividing it into 4 parts, I've got part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So I've taken out this shaded part. Now, if I've taken out the shaded part, it means I am left with how many parts? 1, 2, 3. So it's 3/4. And then what I do, I just multiply it by what? By 2 multiply by the 3,142. Sorry about this. 3,142. And then we multiply it by what? By the radius. Our radius is what? We are given the radius here to be 3 centimeters. And then you do your calculation. Let's quickly do the calculation. 3/4 is 0.75. And then we multiply it by 3,142. Okay, let me start afresh. We say 0.75, which is 3/4. And then we multiply it by what? By 2. We multiply it by 3,14. 2, we multiply it by 3. And then our answer will be what? 14,139 centimeters. And then what I like, the examiner will tell you whether to round off your answer to 2 decimal places, or round off to the nearest whole number, or round off to 1 decimal place. And then you will round accordingly as advised by the examiner. But you must not forget that when you deal with the circumference, it is a single unit. It's same as perimeter. Now let's quickly have a look at this one. The quick one now. Now with this one, we are saying, okay, calculate the perimeter and the area of the shape below. Now, if I am to calculate the perimeter and the area of the shape, let me start with the perimeter. Perimeter, remember I said I'm only adding all the sides. So irrespective of the shape, so it will be 3 meters. I'll start from here. It will be 3 meters plus 3 meters plus 6 meters. Meaning I've got this side, and then I've added this side. Now I've added this side, 6 meters, and then I'm adding plus 4 meters, and then plus. Now when you check the distance from here up until here, it's given here, because when I move from here up until here, it's 3 meters, and then from here up until here, it's 6 meters. So the total distance will be 9 meters, and then plus the height here from here up until here, it's what? It is 7 meters. You can check from here up until here, it's 4 meters, and then from here up until here, it's 3 meters. 3 plus 4, it is 7 meters. Remember, here I am working with what? I'm doing the perimeter. I'm calculating the perimeter. Like I said, you just add all the sides. It will be 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4 plus 9 plus 7. So the total answer will be 32 meters. This will be our perimeter. But when it goes to what now? To the area. We cannot calculate the area of this shape as it is. So we have to break our shape into 2. I will have part 1 and part 2. Or others might prefer to break the shape here, maybe to draw a line here so that they have one line here, and then they will still have part 1, part 2. But let's take this one, the simple one. I'll just break my line here now. And then this will be my area 1. Now I'm calculating area 1. Area 1 will be equals to what? It's a square. It is 3 meters. Multiply by what? By 3 meters. It will give me 9 meters. And then now I'm coming to the second part. Now my part 2. My part 2 here, remember it's a 2D, we're focusing on the internal part. And then on the 2D, we say from here up until here, it's 9. So area for the second part, A2 will be what? 6 plus 3, it will be 9 meters. Here it's a meter squared. It's 9 meters multiplied by what? The height here, it is 4 meters. So 9 multiplied by 4, quickly let's do it. It will be 9 multiplied by 4 will give us what? 36. It will be 36 meter squared. So the total area of the shape will be what now? Will be 9 meter squared plus 36 meter squared. That will give us what? 36 plus 9, it will give us 45 meter squared. Can you see the difference of the same shape? When I do the perimeter, I only focus on the boundaries. On the outer part, the length there will be 32 meters, but the inner part now, the 2D shape, the inner part, this part where I'll be having 2 areas, because I have divided my shape into 2 parts, because I can't calculate the shape or the area of an irregular shape. I must divide it into 2 parts. Then I get the area to be what? To be 445 meter squares. Now let's quickly check the exam type question now. What does the examiner say? How do the examiners ask questions when it comes to the perimeter and area? The first part, it was just the basics. Now we are doing the calculations. Now with the calculations, it says each player has a specific playing area to play during the game. Alongside is playing area A. Here, this entire shape here, it is our playing area. And then an area in which a player is allowed to play. So now when you check, it's a netball court with specifications. So they have given us the specifications to say, now when you are playing here, who's supposed to play from goal circle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is indicated there on your diagram. Now it says use the information alongside to answer the questions that follow. But before you can even attempt the questions, boys and girls, you need to check, are the units the same? Here for the length, it is 15,25, it's in meters, and then the diameter for the center, it's 900 millimeters, and then the space between the width between the 2 lines here, it is 10,17 meters, and then the radius for goal circle, it is 4,9 meters. So meaning the 3 parts are in meters, only the diameter of the center circle is in what? In millimeters. Now a question says use the information alongside to answer the questions that follow. Show through calculations that the difference between the radius of the goal circle and the radius of the center circle is 4,5 meters. Now let's have a look. What are we having? We are having the radius of this one, of the goal circle. It's given. So we are saying here the goal circle, the radius there is equals to what? It's equals to 4,9 meters. But for the center circle, I'm going to do the calculation here. For the center circle, we don't have the radius. We are given the diameter. We are told that the diameter is equals to what? 900 millimeters. And remember, we said for us to get the radius, we have to divide the diameter by 2. Then for us to get the radius, we say it will be 900. We divide it by what? By 2. Then our radius will be 450 millimeters. Are we going to work with millimeters and centimeters and meters? Because the examiner wants us to prove that the difference between the center circle and the goal circle is 4,5 meters. So that means we have to convert our 900, which is now the radius of 450 millimeters. We have to convert it to what now? To meters, so that we work with the same units. And I always say, remember when we started that table, we say from kilometers to meters, from meters to centimeters, from centimeters to millimeters. So from here to here, we multiply by 1,000, and then from here to here, we multiply by 100, then from here to here, we multiply by 10. So from the bigger unit to the smaller unit, we multiply, but from the smaller unit to the bigger unit, what do we do now? We divide. So now we have to divide because our radius is in millimeters. It will be from millimeters to what? 2 meters. That means we have to divide this 450 meters, we divide it into what now? Let me just do this. We divide it by 1,000. So it will be 450. We divide it by 1,000. Let me quickly do it. 450. We divide it by 1,000. It will give us 0.45 meters. And then now we know that the radius for the center, now we are doing the center what? The center circle. The center circle, the radius is equals to what? 0.45 meters. And then difference. Now we say the difference. The difference will be 4.9 minus 0.45. Remember, they are both in what? In meters. They are both in meters. Our units are both in meters. Then we go to our calculator. We say 4.9 minus what? Minus by 0.45. And then our answer, it is 4.45 meters. So it means we are correct. That is the difference between the center circle and the goal circle. Let's go to the next one. It says calculate in meter squares. Now you see the examiner also guides us. It says in meter squares the area of the netball court. You may use the following formula: length times breadth. Now when you check here, the area of the netball court, the length of the netball court, now it is 10.17, and then it's the same. It says equal, equal, equal. You see, they have guided us. Now we say the length. We'll start by the length. Our length will be 10.17 times 3. 10.17 meters times 3 times what? Times the width. How wide is the netball court? It is 15.25 meters. And then you see, I'm just using the information that is given. So it is 10.17 times 3. It will give us 30.51 meters. We multiply it by 15.25 meters. Multiply by 15.25 meters. Our answer will be 465.2775 meter squared. And then they said calculate in meters. So therefore, if you have a look here, all the units are rounded off to 2 decimal places. So it will be 465.28 meter squared. And then if I'm to round it off to the nearest whole number, it will be 465 meter squared. So it's simple like that. Now, let's quickly have a look at this one. The laboratory floor needs to be retiled. Here's the diagram of our laboratory floor. And then the dimensions of the tiles that will be used are 600 multiplied by 600. Boys and girls, what you need to do here, you need to read this information, the given information, before you can even attempt to answer the question. Now you look at the diagram, you look at the information given. So now with the diagram, we are given the floor plan or the layout of the laboratory floor, and then there are the dimensions. All the dimensions are in meters. And then you come back to the question. It says the dimensions of the tile that will be used now, it is what? It is 600 by 600, but these dimensions are in what? In millimeters. And here it is in meters. So that means first step, we just have to convert what? The dimensions of what? Of the tile. But we can still do it later. when we answer the question. Now it's 600 millimeters by 600 millimeters. And if I can take you back, remember we said kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. And then for us to convert from millimeters to meters, we have to divide. Remember here we said we divide by 10, we divide by 100. So that means we have to divide this 600 by 1000. So meaning 600, if I divide it by 1000, it will be equals to what? 0.6 meters. So meaning the dimensions of the tile, it will be 0.6 meters by 0.6 meters. The by that I'm talking about, it's a multiplication. And then we are also told that there are 5 tiles inside the box. There are 5 tiles inside a box. Now it says the sketch and the inner dimensions of the laboratory floor are alongside. Here's the sketch and the laboratory floor and the dimensions. So the science teacher claimed that they would need a minimum of 40 boxes, to tile the laboratory floor. If cutting and breakages are ignored, verify showing all calculations if this claim is valid. And they say use the formula area is equals to a rectangle multiplied by the area of a rectangle, it is the length multiplied by the width. And then quickly let's do this one. Remember now we have to calculate the area of the floor. For us to be able to calculate the area of the floor, it will be simple. What we can do, we can cut our shape now into 2. If we cut our shape into 2, and then we can either cut it this way, we can cut it this way, or we can just cut it here. And then now if we cut it here, we know that this part, it is what? That means we'll have to tile this part. As you can see now, for us to be able to tile, let's say it will have A1 and then A2. So now what will be our area 1? Area 1. Our area 1, it will be this smaller part. And then with the area 1 now, looking at the area 1, what will be the length? Because now they say from here up until here, it is 14 meters. And then from here up until here, it is what? It is 3.5. So now, if I want to only tile this part, so that means I will have area 1 whereby my length is what? It is 3.5. Remember the formula, it is length times breadth. And then it will be 3.5 meters. And then I am going to multiply it by what now? So meaning from here up until here, it is 14. But from here, remember from here up until here, it is 11, and then from here up until here it is 14. So 14 minus 11 will be what? Will be 3. Let's quickly check. 14 minus 11 will be 3 meters. So this portion only will be 3 meters, and then we multiply it. So it will be 3 multiplied by 3.5, and then that will give me what? 10.5 meter squares, because now we are only focusing on this portion. Remember, when we tile, we have to have 2 portions, because I can't be working with what? With the same part. And then now we come to this one. For this one now, we are having from here up until here, and then from here up until here. So our length, area 2 now. Area 2, it will be what? It will be 11 meters multiplied by what? By 7 meters. So 11 multiplied by 7 will give me 77 meter squares. So 77 meter squares. Total area to be tiled, total area will be 10,5 meter squares plus the 77 meter squares plus 10,5 meter squares, which will give me what? 87,5 meter squares. And then now remember the tile. Each tile we set the dimensions of the tile when we're calculating. Each tile is equals to 0,6 meters multiplied by 0,6 meters. So the dimensions of the tile, the area of a tile, it will be 0,36 meter squares. Now we want to know how many tiles do I require if the total floor that needs to be tiled, it is 87,5. So area to be tiled, or a number of tiles, let me say number of tiles will be 87,5 meter squares. You divide it by 0,36 meter squares. So it will be 87,5 divided by 0,36, and then it will give us how many tiles? 243,055,556. So basically it is 244 tiles, because we don't have a piece of a tile. It comes out as a full tile. And then now they said each box has got 5 tiles. So how number of boxes will be 244. We divide it by 5, and let's quickly, 244 divided by 5 will get the answer to be 48,8 boxes. But there's no 48,8, that means we'll buy 49 boxes. And then the science teacher said it will be what? It will be a minimum of 40 boxes. So it means his answer is invalid. His answer is invalid. And remember, boys and girls, for writing this answer to say, in conclusion, they will need a minimum of 49 boxes, and the science teacher said 40 boxes. So that means the science teacher was incorrect. So it means his conclusion is invalid, because they need a minimum of 49 boxes. Let's quickly go to the next question now. The next question says, mountain biking is a sport of riding a bicycle off-road, often over rough terrains, usually using specially designed mountain bikes. State the radius of the wheels in centimeters, indicated with the arrow labeled A, orange arrow. So now when you have a look at this diagram, it's so clear. Remember what I said to you. I said when we do this, you'll see how the radius works. It says from the center of the circle to the circumference, to the side of the wheel. So now the entire wheel, it is 66 centimeters. So this 66 centimeters, it means it is what? It is our diameter. Our diameter is 66 centimeters. And then we said the radius, because they say calculate or state the radius of the wheel. So meaning radius will be what? Will be a diameter divided by 2. So the diameter, radius, remember it's A, and then the diameter is 66. It will be 66 divided by 2, and it's 66 centimeters. So when I divide, it will give me 33 what? 33 centimeters. You see, straightforward. That is our radius. So remember, they said radius marked with A. You need to write A there because the radius, it is marked with an A. And then we go now to the next one. Let's quickly have a look at the second question. Now the second question says, determine the distance in meters to the seven significant figures. So it means there must be 7 digits. A mountain bike can travel on one rotation of the wheel. Use the formula distance rotation. You are given the formula. Quickly, let's do the substitution. It will be 2 times our diameter is 3,142 times our radius. We said it is 33 what? 33, but that 33 is in centimeters. And then what do we need to do now? We need to convert the 33 centimeters into what? Into meters, because our answer must be in meters. And my advice, start by converting a small number, not a huge number, because if it's a huge answer now, it will be impossible or you might make mistakes. And remember, we said now from kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. So now we are saying from the centimeters to the meters, we just divide by 100. So meaning here we are going to divide our radius by 100 to get it to what? To get it to what? To the meters. 3,142, and then we say 33 divided by 100, it will give us 0,33 meters. And then now we're doing the rotation, the distance, it will be 0,33 multiplied by 3,142 multiplied by 2. Our answer will be 2,07372. And then this will be in what? In meters. So remember, here we're given what? The radius as in centimeters. We just needed to convert the radius into what? Into meters. So one rotation will be that answer, 2,07372 meters. And then let's go to the next one. Quick. A cyclist will travel 21,2 kilometers on his mountain bike or on his mountain bicycle. Determine how many times a wheel will rotate to complete his trip. And remember, we said one rotation from the previous question. One rotation, we said it is 2,07372 meters. Now we have to do what? To do the rotation now. We have to find in kilometers how many times will a wheel rotate. Now we have to convert again kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. So now this is in meters. We have to convert it to what? To the kilometers. We have to convert it to the kilometers. So with one rotation in kilometers, it will be this 2,07372 divided by what? By 1,000. Because we said from here, from meters to kilometers, we have to divide by 1,000, because when we say from kilometers, we multiply by 1,000. And then here, we divide by the answer by 1,000. We get our answer to be 0,0020772 kilometers. So now the kilometers, determine how many times, number of times now, number of times the wheel will rotate. I'll just write it like this, and then we'll have 21,2 kilometers. We divide it by 0,002 207,372. And then we say 21,2 divided by 0,00272. Our answer will be what? 10,223, 17381 times. So that's the number of times, and then when I round it off, it will be 10,224, because now there is no way I can say it will cut. It will be have 10,224 times. Can you see, boys and girls? It's so simple. The answers are there. You don't struggle. Let's quickly attempt question 4. The diagram below shows the minimum opening size of a double door garage surrounded by a wall built of a single layer bricks. Study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. Identify the length of the minimum double door opening. Give your answer in meters. So now it's a double door. They say the minimum length, the length of the minimum double door. Here's the length. Here it is our double door. It says minimum double door opening size. Here it is from here up until there. So meaning it is 4,880 millimeters. And then we have to convert it to what now? To meters. And then it takes us back again. Kilometers. Can you see how important is the conversion? Kilometers, centimeters, and millimeters. And then we said from kilometers to meters, we multiply by 1,000, and then from centimeters we multiply by 100, we multiply by 10. Now we have to divide. So that means it will be from here up until where? Millimeters to meters. It will be from here up until here. We have to divide by what? By 1,000. So if I have to divide by 1,000, it will be 4,880. So to meters, I just divide it by 1,000, and then 4,880 divided by 1,000, it will give me 4,88 meters. We are done. That's number 1 out. Done. Then let's quickly go to number 2. And then it says A is triple the distance marked B. So what is the distance marked B here? It is 150 millimeters. Distance marked B. Write down the distance marked A. So meaning A is equals to triple what? B. The distance B, which is 3 times 150 millimeters. That will give us 450 millimeters. Yeah. Simple, straightforward. They did not say we must convert or write our answer in meters or in centimeters or what. They just said write the distance. Now it says the next question. Write down the height of the wall in meters. How high is the wall now? We have to check. The wall from here up until here is 2,1 meters. So meaning we have 2,1 meters. But the height of the wall starts from here. It goes from here up until there. So here we set our A, it was 450 millimeters. Conversion again, kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. And then I must convert the millimeters into what? Into meters. And then we said we'll divide by what? By 1,000. So meaning I have to say, it says write down, I have to say plus, because it is the height in meters. So I have to say now the height will be 450, and then we divide it by what? By 1000 to get it to meters, so that the units are the same. 2,1 meters plus what? 450 divided by 1000 will give me 0,45 meters. I add the 2,1, which will give me 2,55 meters. Done. That's that, because the information is there. Now let's look at this one. It says, determine the area of the single garage door opening if the length is half the length. Determine the area of the single garage door opening if the length is half the length of the double door garage opening and the height remains the same. So meaning the height here, it is what? It is 2,1. It remains the same. This is our height. And then from here up until here, it is 4,888. And then now that 4,888, remember somewhere on the first one, we converted it into meters, and then our answer was 4,88 meters. But that 4,88, it's from here up until here. So now the area here will be the length, which is the height. It will be 2,1 meters multiplied by the width. Now when it comes to the width, I have to divide it by 2, which will be 4,88 meters. I divide it by 2. So meaning 4,88 divided by 2, it will give me 2,44. So meaning it will be 2,1 meters multiplied by 2,44 meters. So multiply by 2,1. My answer will be, the area will be 5,124 meter squared. Why did I divide by 2? It's because it is half the distance. Single garage opening will be half the distance. So meaning it will be 2,44 on one door and 2,44 on the next door. Now it says calculate the area. The next question, calculate the area covered by bricks in meter squares. For us to be able to do this area covered by bricks, now we have to calculate the area of the door and then also the area of the entire wall. And remember now the door is not covered the same. So now let's start with the area of the door. Let's say here it is door. Area of the door now, it will be what? 2,1 meters multiplied by what? By 4,88 meters. Remember now I'm talking about the entire door. So it will be 2,1 multiplied by 2,1 multiplied by what? By 4,88 meters. So the answer will be here 10,248 meter squared. That is the door. And then now we want to calculate the area of the wall. Wall, what is the height of the wall here? Remember the height of the wall, it will be 2,1. Ne? And then 2,1 plus the B. Now B is 150. So meaning if it's 150, B it's 150, so that means it is 150 this side, it is also 150 this side. But that 150, we must remember it's what? It is in millimeters. So now we have to add, this is the area of the wall now, the entire wall. So now area of the wall, area will be length times breadth. And then now for the entire wall from here up until there, now we have to calculate what now? The breadth. and then we'll have the 2,1 meters. Multiply now. This will be 488, which is 4,88 meters from here up until there, plus 300. So the 300 millimeters, I will always take you back to kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. And then now we have to convert the 300 millimeters to meters. We just divide the 300 millimeters into what now? Into, we convert it to meters. We divide it by 1,000. And then our answer will be 0,3. 0,3 meters. So that means here I have to add this 2. It will be 2,1 meters multiplied by 4,88 plus 0,3. It will be 5,18 meters. And then I just multiply that by 2,1 to get our answer to be 10,878 meter squared. That is the area of the wall, the entire wall, including the door. So area for bricks, area covered with bricks will be 10,878 meters squared minus 10,248 meters squared, and then the answer will be minus 10,248. The answer will be 0,63 meter squared. That is the area to be covered by what? By bricks. So now, boys and girls, let's see here. This is the total distance. Let's see if we did not make any faults here. We have the area of the door. Here's the area of the door, 2,1 by that. Yeah. Remember now. Here, there's something missing. Can you see? We made a mistake here. For the height of the wall, it's not only the height of the opening, we must also include this part of A. And then remember A, we said it was 0,45. So meaning here, instead of us multiplying by 0,45, and then you will have to do, can I do this to make it look nicer? And then let me quickly see. We said it was 450 450, we divide it by 1,000, and then it is 0,45. So meaning it will be 0,45 plus 2,1. That will be the total height, which is 2,55. So the total height here, it is 2,55 meters. So now if it is 2,55 meters, and then not 2,1, but it is 2,55. So meaning our area for the door will be, for the wall, it will be 2,55 meters multiplied by what? By 5,18 meters. So let's quickly do it, and then we scrap out this one. It will be 2,55 multiply 2,55 multiplied by 5,18. Yeah, it is what? 13,209. And then that means here it won't be 10. We we cancel out that one. So that means the area to be covered by bricks, it will be 13,209 meters squared minus 10,248 meter squared minus 10,248 meter squares, and then the answer will be 2,91961 meter squared. So the area to be covered by bricks will be 2. So this entire area for the bricks from here, there, up until here, it will be 2,961 meter squares. I hope you got it correct. We nearly made a mistake because we only took the height of the door, excluding the height of the wall. And remember, now the wall starts from here up until there. We have to add the height of A. Now quickly, let's have a look at this one. This one is so nice as well. It says alongside is at the dimensions of a medium dog kennel. Follow the roof. Calculate the area of the roof of the kennel. Now here's the roof of the kennel of the dog, and then you are given the formula. So now area is equals to half base multiplied by height. So now quickly we say area is equals to half. What is our base now? Now when you look at this shape here, the kennel, here's the base of the kennel of the roof. So this line, it shows us the base of the roof. And then what is our base here? It is 80 centimeters. And then the height, how do we determine the height? So they are telling us that from the bottom up until here, it is 79 centimeters. And then from the bottom up until the halfway of the kennel, it is what? It is 37. So meaning the height here, the difference here, from here up until there, that means I just have to say H is equals to what? Is equals to 79 centimeters minus 37 centimeters. Let's quickly do it. We say 79 minus 37. It will give us 42. It will give us 42 what? 42 centimeters. And then that means here the height will be 42 centimeters. The height here will be 42 centimeters. So meaning when I'm to do my calculation, the area now for the roof of the kennel, it will be 0,5 multiplied by 80 multiplied by 42. And then our answer will be 1,680 centimeter squared. Remember, it's an area. It is straightforward. Boys and girls, we are doing the second last question, but we are almost there. Calculate the perimeter of the opening of the kennel. This one is so simple. Perimeter of the opening of the kennel, and then they are telling us that here's the opening of the kennel, dog kennel. So meaning it is 30 centimeters. And then here, from here up until here, as you can see, it says it is 37 centimeters. So perimeter, we said we add all the sides. So I can simply say 37 plus, from here up until here, we say it is 30 centimeters. And then from here up until here, it is 30 centimeters. And then opening here, it is what? It is also, sorry, it is 30 centimeters here, 30 centimeters, 37, and then we need to add 37. So meaning it will be 37 plus 30 plus 30 plus 37. So it will give us what? 134 centimeters. This is what? This is the centimeters. This is the perimeter. We don't do any calculations. We don't multiply the units. We keep the units as they are. Now it says calculate the area of the two sides of the kernel. The last question for this one, it will be now area is equals to length times breadth. Now if you check here the two sides of the kernel, so we have side A and also on the other side, meaning it will be this side and the other side, but like this. And then we say the length of the kernel is what? Now it is area will be what? 74 centimeters. And then now how wide? Remember now it is from here up until here, and then the height here, it is what? It is 37 centimeters. And then we simply say 74 because we are talking about this part from here up until here, and then we are calculating the area. So here it is 37 centimeters. So our area will be 74 multiplied by 37, which will give us what now? The area will be 2,738 centimeter squared. And then if the examiner says convert your answer to meters, and then you just quickly do the conversions. Boys and girls, I'm just going to cover this question, the last question, and then you now know, you have an idea as to how to calculate the perimeter and the area of the prisms, or of the shapes, the four shapes that we are given. So now on this one, boys and girls, even this one, it's so nice. You have the length, it shows there, and then here's the width, and they are telling us that it was a full drum, and then they've cut it into two, and then a metal frame from a 19 millimeter galvanized. So meaning this part, this portion, this small portion, it is 19 millimeter galvanized iron pipe support the brass stand. Calculate the area of the grid that will sit on top of the drum to bright the meat. And then they are telling us you may use this formula. What I like about this, they are giving us that information that you may use this formula to do your calculation or to answer your question. And then quickly here, it will be what? 88 centimeters. The length, it will be 88 centimeters. But remember, that is the length of the brass stand, né? The 88 centimeters. And then the sheet that is going to sit there, the grid that will sit on top, it will sit from here, from this part up until this part. And that part, the width of that part, it is what? It is a 19 millimeters. So that means we need to convert this 19 millimeters into what? Into centimeters. And then quickly we say from millimeters to centimeters, we divide by what? We divide by 10. So meaning if I say 1,19, I divide it by 10. It will give me 1,9. So meaning this side only, it's 1,9. This part will be 1,9. And then also this side, it will be 1,9. So that means the length, it will be extended by what? It will be 1,9 multiplied by 2. The length will be extended by 3,8. So meaning we have to add 3,8 centimeters. That is the length. Same applies with the breadth. The breadth, it is 56 centimeters. It is 56 centimeters. And then we have to add what? We have to add the 3,8 because it's the same 3,8, 3,8. They are using the same pipe. 3,8 centimeters. So meaning our area will be 88 plus 3,8. It will give us 91,8 centimeters multiplied by what? 56, 56 plus 3,8 meters. It will give us what? It will give us 59,8 centimeters. That means I just have to multiply the two, 91,8 multiply by 56, multiply by 59,8. And then our answer will be what? So now they say here, Zianda, calculate the area of the crate that will sit on top of the tram. So now the area that will sit on top of the tram, because it's this one, and then we added, and then it's this one, 56 centimeters. We have added the two, okay, and then it will be 503,948,959,52 centimeter squared. Unfortunately, boys and girls, we have to close it here. We'll have to stop here. Our time, we have run out of time, but we're done with the questions. This was one of our last questions. And then your teacher will give you this homework. This homework is similar to the one that we started with, whereby we are having an irregular shape. What you need to do, follow the steps, play the video again, look how do we work with the different shapes. That means you can work with this shape as it is. If you are doing the perimeter, you are just adding the sides, the boundaries of the shape. But when it comes to the perimeter or to the area, you have to now dissect your shape into different shapes, like in squares and also in rectangular prisms. So this one, it will be your homework. Your teacher will do it with you. But boys and girls, in conclusion, when it comes to calculating the area and the perimeter, or let me say the perimeter and the area, always make sure that the unit of measurements are the same before doing any calculation. If you can recall, I was converting. Where I was given the millimeters, I had to convert it to meters in order for me to have the same unit of the shapes, and then convert the units of measurement between the different systems. Sometimes if the examiner has given you the imperial to the metric, or from the metric to the imperial, you have to do the conversions based on the given scenario. So if the examiner says convert your answer to meters, and then they have given you what? They have given you the measurement in metrics. So you just need to do what? You just need to convert the metrics to the imperial, or the imperial to the metrics, vice versa. And then convert units of measurement between different scales. So everything that is given, you must work with same units. You have to use the same units according to the same scale given. Change the diameter to radius before doing any calculations by dividing the diameter by 2. So if you are given the diameter, you have to divide it by what? By 2, and then you know that you've got the radius readily available for you in a standby. So when you do the calculations, you must be able to choose the correct formula. You choose the suitable formula to do the calculation. And what I like about paper 2, boys and girls, when it comes to measurement, always you are given what? You are given the formulas. So you need to be able to identify the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle, the perimeter of a square, the perimeter of a circle, the perimeter of a triangle. And then when you are given the area, you need to know which side is the longest side, which side is the shorter side, and the units as well. And then always pi is given as what? As 3,142. Boys and girls, the semicircle, you have to divide the circle according. If they say it is half, you divide the circle into 2. So the area for the circle, it is pi r squared. And then if it is pi times radius squared, and then what you do, you divide it by 2, because now you'll be talking about half of the circle. If they say it is 3/4, you remember the first part, whereby I've divided the circle into 4 equal parts, and then I only used the shaded part, which were 3 parts. If it is 2 parts, you only do the half. So boys and girls, this was the nicest activities that we had to do. Come again, join us next week on the 21st for the just in time lesson on the 21st of April 2025. The time it is 2:30 up until 4 o'clock. The topic that we'll be focusing on, it will be surface area and the volume, which means it will be the application of what we have learned on today's lessons and the previous lesson. I hope to see you next time. You must stay tuned. When you have time, go back, play the videos, and then you rehearse, you practice what you have already taught. Then you'll see there will be a huge difference when it comes to the marks when it comes to your marks at the end of this term, when you'll be writing the exam that has got this work that we have just covered. See you next time. Bye-bye.